Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel Rather Be Reading, and today I'm bringing to you my March wrap up. First off, apologies for this weird lighting. I'm actually filming this, that was a tail, I'm filming this before work, and it's also going to be noisy. So I'm filming before work, which I've never in my life done before, but it is actually the 1st of April today as I'm filming this, so happy April. And I wanted to get my wrap up this afternoon. I film on my phone and it takes a long time for some reason. There's gonna be so much background noise, I apologize. It takes a long time for videos to go, and my cat's just knocked the camera down. This video is gonna be a disaster. It takes a long time for videos to go from my phone onto the iCloud, and I don't have like a Mac that matches with my iPhone, so I have to wait for things to go onto the cloud so that I can get them off the cloud to edit. And so I wanted to film this morning so that hopefully throughout the day today this will go onto the cloud, and then hopefully on my lunch break I'll be able to edit this and post. And I thought, oh, it's I'm home, so I'll be able to film before work because I've got more time in the mornings. But our clocks don't go back here because we're coming into the cold months here in the southern hemisphere, and our clocks don't actually go back until this weekend. So the sun didn't come up until like 7:30, and it's only like 7:38 or whatever right now. And I also didn't take into consideration that this room where all my books are is in the back bedroom of my house, which is the back of the house, and the sun actually comes up on the other side of the house. So this is great when I film normally in the afternoons because I get the afternoon light, but in the mornings not so great. So I have my overhead light on. I also haven't fed the cats yet, which is why they're going crazy in the background, because I don't normally feed them until I leave for work, which I haven't done yet. So it's just a bit of weird circumstances, but March is over. Let's talk about the March reading month. So I read a total of 28 books, and I DNF'd one further book. Of the 28 books that I completed, I read 26 novels, one graphic novel, and one novella. I read 15 books in physical format, I read 5 ebooks, and I listened to 8 audiobooks. My audiobook listening definitely picked up this month, which I'm kind of surprised about. I have found working from home, or rather from my parents' home, has actually really helped with my audiobook listening, so that's interesting. And then excluding the audiobooks, as always, I read 12 books that I own and 8 from the library. I read a total of 10,560 pages. Super happy with that. So I was reading just a crap ton this month to get over 10,000, to hit like over the 10,000 page mark. That averaged out to a total of 341 pages per day. The shortest book that I read was 32 pages. That was the novella that I read. And the longest book that I read was, this is when my statistics get a little bit weird. The longest book that I technically completed this month was 906 pages. That was The Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. But I read the majority of that book actually in February, but I didn't complete it till this month, and I didn't include that huge number in my February statistics. So technically that's the longest book that I finished, but I think I checked and I read like somewhere between 7 or 8 books this month that were over 500 pages. So I was reading some really chunky books. The lowest star rating that I gave this month was, I did give a 1 star this month, which has been a while since I've given just a straight up 1 star. The highest star rating that I gave was, I did technically give a 5 star, but that was to a reread. So the highest like new to me like rating was, I did give 2 different books 4.25 stars. My average star rating for the month averaged out to 3.36 stars, which I'm fairly happy with. That is definitely like a good average for me. The worst book, so getting into my least and most favorite books of the month. My least favorite book of the month, the worst book of the month, was my 1 star, obviously, and that was Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I talked about this book in my recent reads video, but also in the long weekend reading vlog that I did in March. So check either of those 2 out if you're interested in my thoughts, but hated that book. And then my favorite, excluding the reread, my favorite new to me book this month, like I said, I had 2 4.25 star ratings, but I think my favorite I'm going with is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I really did enjoy that book. I buddy read that with one of my subscribers, who I talk to regularly, Michelle, and they're gonna knock the camera over again. That's my cat's on the scratching post, and the chair, I I don't have a professional setup, but the chair kind of leans against the scratching post, and so when they start going crazy on the scratching post, it just like knocks the camera. So I apologize, but they're real razzed up this morning because they want to be fed. What was I saying? Oh, my favorite book, yeah, Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. One of my faves. Of so far, like kind of this year. Really did enjoy the trilogy overall. Now to check in on my TBR from March, and to look at the books that I mentioned in my TBR and whether or not I got to them. So the first category that I have in my TBR is the library books, and I have a lot of library books on my TBR in March. We'll quickly touch on those. We had Darkness Falls by Kate Tiernan, which I read, Giant Days Volume 10, which I read, The New Girl by R.L. Stine, which I did read, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, which I did read, The Burning Room by Michael Connelly, which I did read, the first volume in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer High School is Hell graphic novel series, which I didn't read, Lady Helen and the Dark Days Deceit by Alison Goodman, which I did read, Sun by Lois Lowry, which I didn't read, Sticks and Stones by Michael Hybert, which I didn't read, and The Curses by Law Eve, which I didn't read. I don't even know how I'm going to put together the graphics that I've been doing this year with that many books, but we'll see how I go. So I had a lot of books from my library. And as you can see, there's a few there that I didn't get to, but with the whole virus situation and self-isolation and a lot of the country and the world shutting down, my library has closed, officially closed now. Even before they closed, when they were still open, they have extended every library due date until 1 May. So it was a blessing for me. I had 6 overdue books at the time that they extended that. So all of my overdue books got extended, every book got extended, so that gave me a lot of breathing room. So I still managed to get through quite a few of the library books, but it did give me a little space to breathe. And then the books that were on my physical TBR this month were Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, which I did read, The Messenger by Marcus Zuzak, which I did read, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Saenz, which I did read, Illumina and Gemina were on my TBR by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I read both of those, and I did also end up reading Obsidio. And then I've talked about this in a bunch of videos, but the TBR Teacup pick, which kind of got reshuffled twice, but I did read the book that I needed to read for that. So I'm putting Murder in Mississippi, even though that's not the one I technically talked about in my TBR, but it is the one I ended up needing to read, and I did read it. So I'm calling that a completion. And then the ebooks that I had on my TBR were Silent House by Neil Patterson, which I read, Bad Bachelor by Stephanie London, which I read, The New Guy by Catherine Freeman, which I read, and The First Wife by Jill Childs, which I did read. And then the audiobooks was the final category, and I had The Mad Ship by Robin Hobb, which I did read, Girl Gone Viral by Arvin Ahmadi, which I started, but I ended up DNFing. The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein, which I did read, and then The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer, which I didn't get to. I didn't get to it before it was due, so I have put it back on hold, and I will get to that eventually, but I didn't get to it in March. So that's the TBR check-in in terms of what I put on my TBR for the month. To touch on my Around the Year in 52 Books challenge and how I'm going with how many challenges I managed to complete. So I actually completed 12 challenges in March, which is insanity. So I now have completed 31 out of the 52 challenges, so I am way ahead of the game. And with the TBR Teacup and pulling one out every month of the ones that are a little bit more tricky that I've specifically earmarked a book for, I'm hoping that I'm maybe going to get the challenge done really early this year. Who knows? I'm excited about that because I'm definitely flying through that at this rate. And then the final thing that, oh my god, my cats are going insane. To check in on the final thing that we check in on these wrap-ups is the goal that I had this year to reduce my TBR to below 400. So my TBR as at 1 March was 438, which is a measly 1 below where it was at the beginning of the year. And I read a total of 8 books off my TBR this month, and I hauled 6 that added to my TBR. So my new TBR total as of the end of March was 436. So I've reduced it by 2, which is not great. I reduced it by so many in January, but then February was dismal. And then March was okay, like, well, not okay, it was bad. Like, it was bad. I've only reduced it by 2. So I still have to reduce it by at least 37 more books by the end of the year, which is definitely doable, but not if I keep getting books in the way that I am. But who knows, maybe in terms of the virus and being like self-isolated and quarantined, it'll be a good thing, because I can, if I stick to my normal monthly order, then I won't be bringing in extra books. But stay tuned to my haul to see all the books that I did bring in on the TBR this month. So that's it. That is my March wrap up. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've got any thoughts on any of the books that I read, or to discuss how your guys' March reading month went. It was definitely a really, really successful reading month, and I'm really happy with that. I'm gonna go feed my cats because they are losing their goddamn minds. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye guys.